Assalamu alaikum, you're watching The Heather Rifat Show and I'm your host Heather Rifat. Today I'm here with Kashif Abbasi, who's a renowned news anchor for ARY News. Thank you so much for joining me.
Pleasure.
I would like to start off with your career in journalism. How did you start off as a journalist?
Yeah, it was a complete chance. 9/11 had happened when I finished my master's degree. And like everybody else, I was also looking for a job. And all those international news chains were in Pakistan, based in the Marriott, if you remember. And I just happened to actually walk into the CNN office and they hired me.
So, what are some key qualities a journalist should have in order to succeed in the field?
See, there's a joke that goes around in the market about journalists. You know, you should hate your family life. You hate your friends. You don't want friends. I mean, you don't have any friends in life. Food is not a priority. Social life, traveling, nothing. You know, there's nothing in life that you like or want. That's somebody who should become a journalist, because problem is journalism is a way of life. So what are the qualities we should have? One, hard work, because this is a lot of time. This is a lot of hours. This is a lot of hard work. You have to. I believe you should be inquisitive enough that as an individual also. Without hard work you can't get anywhere. You have to read a lot. You have to have that passion to want to do this. For example, I was talking to you and saying, journalism is a passion. If it is. When I got into this field, I knew this is the only thing I want to do. I don't want to do anything else. I mean, I wasn't getting paid. These pays that we get now, you're an anchor and you get paid big money. Back then we were getting 12,000 rupees, man. And I thought, I'm happy. This is what I want to do. You realize that if that's not it, I don't think this is the field for you.
So, do you think competition exists among contemporary journalists, or is it just a myth?
There's no competition. I don't believe in journalistic competition, because everybody actually does everything. Jo unko theek lagta. I mean, I do what I see fit. Probably somebody else looks at the same thing very differently. And that's what it's difference of opinion. It's multiple opinions out there. That's what journalism is all about. I mean, somebody listens to, for example, the Panama Leaks issue that is going on right now. I mean, I look at it very differently. Probably I look at it in a way that the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the most powerful man in Pakistan, if he's held accountable, probably that process will start in Pakistan. Somebody else probably looks at it differently. They say, no, I don't think this is where you should hold him accountable, or it should not be done like this or that. I mean, so when a viewer looks at different opinions, it's easier for him to make up his mind. So, competition is when everybody's doing the same thing. I think here there's a lot of difference of opinion. There's a lot of different personalities out there. So I don't believe in this competition. I think everybody's doing a good job within their own domains and the way they do it.
So, my follow-up question was regarding the Panama Leaks case. What is your take as a journalist?
I think the Prime Minister of Pakistan should be held accountable. For the longest time, there's this elite capture in this country. I mean, look at things around you. Have you, and I put journalists in that category, especially anchors. Do you see elite being held accountable? Can you ask them a question? Can you ask me where my money came from, or a politician, or a judge, or a general, for that matter? Can you ask them where their money came from? How did they become millionaires or billionaires? There is no respect for law when it comes to us, because we are above the law. We don't have to follow the law, because I can get away with it.
True.
And I've been getting away with it for 70 years. That's what needs to change in this country. If you need to change it, it has to start from somewhere. If you keep putting or shoving these not so important people in jails and keep running these cases in courts against them, and the elite just kind of walks scot free, it will never happen. If I know that crossing a red light, I will be challan for it. I will be careful. If I know nothing will happen to me, will I even care? That is what is happening in this country, or has happened for the past at least 30-40 years with impunity. I think that needs to end.
So, do you think Imran Khan is politically able to lead Pakistan?
No. Okay, let me rephrase.
Why do you think that?
I don't think I have seen enough of him in government directly. He has a government in KPK. I think there's a lot that needs to be desired. There is so much more that he could do. Also, the way he's conducted himself or his political party, a lot of people, including myself, I mean, I wouldn't look at him and say, this is it. He is the man. He is a man who is an alternative, all right, because even Asif Zardari Sahib is an alternative for this political, gameplay. But I think he could have done things so very differently, and he could have actually put himself out there as that guy that everybody could have looked at. I think that's one thing he's missed. You know, the 8 million votes he got in 2013, has he added to those votes? Has he kind of made this country believe, or the people of this country believe, that he is the one? I am sure everybody has their own answers.
Yes. So, what is your take on Pakistan's foreign policy? Are we in the right direction, or?
See, I believe that Pakistan, as we have to look at the foreign policy in different context. I mean, for example, the neighbors come in a different context. I believe in good relationships with India. I don't believe in the fact that we have to keep fighting India all the time, and that military build up, and that we spend on defense. I don't believe in that. That where we are today financially, probably one of the reasons is that we overspent. Why did we have this atom bomb if we need to have F-16s also, and need to have tanks every time, or need to add to that arsenal and spend billions and billions of dollars on that every year? So no, we need good relationship with India, with Afghanistan, with Iran. Regionally, Pakistan can play a role, should play a role. I think we're too reliant on aid, and that's where the foreign policy becomes too dependent on how the Americans look at us, and then my personal relationship with the Americans or the Saudis. Am I happy with it? I'm not happy with it. Why? Because the leaders that I've gotten so far, be it the People's Party government or the PMLN government, we are relying too much on my personal relationship with whoever it is. Be it, because unfortunately that's the answer they give you. Maybe has merit to it. That when you keep throwing people to Saudi Arabia in exile and to UK and America in exile, then probably the reliance comes. Am I happy with the foreign policy? No. It's a very reactive foreign policy.
So
we have to have a proactive foreign policy.
So what are the preemptive measures we can take to improve the foreign policy of Pakistan? Just a few.
It's a huge foreign policy. When you say foreign policy and improve it, it's a huge ambit. It's not just talking about India or talking about one other country or two other countries. One, I think we need to have good relations with our neighbors. That has to happen. We have to cut down on the quarrels that we have around us. Trade is very important. Are we focusing on that trade? I mean, what are we getting out of China, for example, or America, or the relationships that we have? All of that needs to be looked at. All of that needs to change. Where do we put that country, the other? Or, we as a country have relied on isolation when it comes to neighbors. We are isolated. In my opinion, we are isolated. We have the only friend probably we have is China. In Afghanistan, look at the Afghan government and how we've dealt with it for years. Look at India and how we've dealt with India for years. Iran, more enemies than friends we have around us. Give me friends who stand by us in the time of need. You tell me. How many? Why? Why are we here? But I think unless we fix our domestic politics, we can't have a good foreign policy. Because our reliance on these countries is so much that we beggars can't be choosers, can we?
True.
Yes, we have, our whole foreign policy about getting money from other countries. How can America help us? How can China help us? How can anybody, Saudi Arab help? Give us oil, give us money, give us aid. As long as that's your foreign policy, it won't get you anywhere.
So do you think PPP will regain power after Asif Ali Zardari's return?
Well, if you want a straight answer, after Asif Ali Zardari's return, whatever little chance of them getting any seats in Punjab, I think even that is diminishing. Because Asif Zardari Sahab, as a politician, is put in a certain bracket by probably the electorate. People who vote, there's that certain perception about him. That is very close to reality also in many cases. Do you trust him? That's a question that a voter has to answer. In 2013, they answered big time, and the first National Assembly seat was NA 191. That too was a seat that was Makhdoom Ahmed Mahmood winning his personal seat. Not a single seat in Punjab. Not a single seat in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. People just uprooted and threw them out of politics. Because that perception of corruption, that, the misgovernance. I can count endlessly what happened in their government. Do you think people have forgotten that? See, when they rely on People's Party's historical vote bank, what they don't realize is, I come from a very, very strong People's Party background. Very strong People's Party background. people my age are the ones who barely remember the People's Party of old and the martial law and the fight against the martial law. Now, the majority of the voters are under the age of 35 and are 35 and below. They don't remember what People's Party stood for. They don't remember what Zulfikar Ali Bhutto did or what Benazir Bhutto was, or the good old days of People's Party. It's People's Party is synonymous with corruption, and Asif Zardari is synonymous with corruption. I don't see them voting for People's Party then.
Do you think the Supreme Court is biased or unbiased in view of the Panama case, or do you think? What is your opinion?
I've actually gone to a lot of the hearings. You can't really make out if they're biased or not. And seriously, I even if I did see one way or the other, I couldn't remark on it because we're talking about the Supreme Court. I hope the courts can give a verdict that is justifiable also. I read Justice Asif Saeed Khosa wrote, he just used Khalil Gibran and wrote this whole poem of his own, Pity the Nation. And, what he said then is actually so true today. And I hope he pities this nation and says and does what is ought to be done. And I'm sure they'll do it.
And what's the hardest part towards the end? What's the hardest part of being a journalist?
I think it's following that straight path is actually very, very hard in the end. In my opinion, when you are in a position of strength, you interact with these important people also. That clouds your judgment. It doesn't really cloud your judgment, but you say, he's a friend, I can't say anything against him, and he's a friend, and I can't say anything against him either. When that starts to happen, or the money that is being offered, the threats that are thrown at you or hurled at you, that also happens a lot. It happens. I mean, in cases of, for example, MKM would do it. The military picks up people because you're very critical, or roughs you up. This is Pakistan. A friend of ours got shot. I mean, he got 6 bullets in his body. Nobody has been able to answer who did it and why they did it. So, when you look at, not every time it doesn't have to happen to you. When I see it happening to someone very close, it's a message for everyone. So, these are some of the problems that we face. And also, I think family life suffers a lot. It does. There was a time when I used to say, seriously, anchoring is not a problem. No, we only have to work for an hour. Seriously.
The work that goes behind it.
It's the kind of work we have to do before and after.
Yes.
I mean, even weekends go into
on factual basis.
So there's too much that goes on. I think people just see that 1 hour and say, my God, that's easy work. All they have to do is just put on a suit and talk.
That's not
it's not that easy. And there are too many things that happen behind it.
And lastly, what is the one thing that you'd like to change about Pakistan, and why?
I think the way it's being run, obviously. And why? Because it affects all of us. I mean, where do we stand? What is happening in this country? I tell you my personal example. My brother bought this land, and that land is not, he paid for it, and that land is not there on paper. Well, actually, it's there on paper, it's not there on ground. That's what Pakistan is today. We go to the court, the judge in 4 years doesn't even know what our case is. Our police, head of police, said, sir, don't go to the court, don't file a 420 ki FIR against him, Beimani ki. He'll jump with joy because he knows he's going to go in for 10, 15 days, and then after that, there is no money. This is what the police is telling you. Sir, दहशतगर्दी का मुकदमा डालते हैं, क्लाशों को डालते हैं, उसके ऊपर इस तरह मिलेंगे पैसे. This is how you get the money back. This is what Pakistan is. Not a single institution works. You name an institution that you think works.
I don't think so. None of them work.
Do you want a country like this?
Neither the health sector, neither the education sector. I think there are a lot of
no
flaws.
Education, no bureaucracy, no police, no patwari, there is no. Do you think that you go to a court and you get justice in a court of law in Pakistan? I mean, I know cases that have been run for donkey's years, to 20 years, 30 years. Next generation has come in and they are now fighting those cases in the courts. Nothing works.
Even nepotism has taken over. In politics.
Everywhere. There was a time when if somebody we thought was corrupt or, koi chor hai, nobody wanted to interact with him. Everybody wanted to, just avoid him and go the other way. Now people, if you're not making money, you're in a position of strength and you're not making money, people make fun of you. You know, who are you serious? Are you out of your mind? You're not making money. This is what Pakistan has become. And are we happy with it? Should we be happy with it? You know, my kids are growing up in this country. Look at the terrorism. There's a bombs going off everywhere and we still don't know if the state is fighting it or not. That's my biggest challenge. If we are fighting it, we'll fight it out. I mean, that's what, we have to sacrifice something for it. But are we fighting that fight? Nobody is sure. Nothing works. I mean, you make me metros and you make me these trains and motorways. Is that what democracy is? Is that what a country is for? That I can drive my fancy little car on a road and should be happy about it because it runs smoothly? That's not what countries are. Do you think, you know, you're a young chap and probably looking to get into a professional life in about 2, 3 years, 4 years. Do you think you have that space available for you out?
I don't
Where
think
you'd walk
so.
out and if you're able, you'll get something.
It's not there.
So do the youngsters in this country want a country like that? That's our problem. This is our biggest challenge. And are we failing? Absolutely, we're failing on every front. Everybody is failing us. There is nobody in the opposition who would stand up and say, let's fix these institutions. Because if the institutions work, they are the ones that give you protection. There is no protection for me. When I say me, I'm talking about the 20 crore because I am the privileged one. You know, media, the anchor persons are the privileged class here.
They are.
I'm talking about the common, the 20 crore log. Unme se, that majority of them do not have protection in this country. That's why they have to rely on one powerful man or the other who can look after them because they'll need him. This is not how countries go forward. We all travel. We go to the developed Europe and the Americas. You know, I don't know what is happening here.
Thank you so much for joining me, Kashif Abbasi.
Thanks.
For more videos, stay tuned on my official YouTube channel and official YouTube channel and Facebook for more information. That's all for now. Until then, take care. Allah Hafiz.